Hello, everyone that's joined us so far. Welcome to today's live training. My name is Reese and I'm going to be your moderator today. We're going to kick off today's session in a minute or so. We're just waiting so everyone has a chance to join. In the meantime, we'd love to hear from you. So let's know where you're joining from in the comments and let us know what you'd like to get out of today's webinar. Just a few things about today's live stream. The recording will be available to everyone that has signed up to attend this event, and it will be available for replay on LinkedIn and YouTube as well. But yeah, let us know where you're joining from in the comments, and you can also scan the QR code on screen to code along with us and get access to today's dataset. We'll see you very shortly. Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining today's live training. My name is Reese and I'm your moderator today. We're going to kick off today's session in, 30 seconds or so, very shortly. We're just waiting for a few extra people to join before we get started. In the meantime, let me know where you're joining from in the comments. And yeah, let me know what you'd like to learn about in today's live training. Who have we got here? So, Engi from Egypt, Plavili, we see you, and Samuel. Nice to see you. Just as a note for anyone, we will be using Tableau in today's session. So if you don't have it installed already, now is a good time to get that sorted. So yeah, reminder that we're using Tableau in today's session. So yeah, if you've got it, great. If you haven't got it, I'm going to be posting a link to download it in the chat. Okay, brilliant. Looks like we're pretty much good to go and everyone's here. Brilliant. Okay, thanks for joining today's live session, everyone. I'm going to hand you over now to our host for today's session, Richie.
Hi there, data scamps and data champs. This is Richie. So today we're looking at e-commerce analysis. Now, since almost every business is on the internet, this sort of analysis is very clearly very widely useful. And in particular, understanding where your sales are coming from is essential to the survival of basically every business. So very important analysis today. And our instructor is Dev Bosley. He's a principal BI architect at Access Telecare. And he's a seasoned management professional, a consultant, a trainer, and a speaker. And he's obsessed with helping people use data visually. And Dev is also the instructor for our e-commerce with Tableau course. So Reese is going to post a link to that in the chat shortly. I'm going to be quiet and just hand it directly over to you, Dev.
Hey, thank you very much, Richie. So hello, everyone. Thanks for taking the time. Happy Friday. So today we're going to be talking about how to analyze e-commerce data. And we have a fun data set from a pet supply store. So, most people like pets. So, there are going to be some fun images along the way as well. So let's look at what we're going to study today. We have a data set that is about sales transactions, like individual sales about pet supplies such as pet food, supplements, grooming supplies. So what we'll try to understand, starting with this, what's the pulse of the business? What do executives want to look at? So what is called as an executive dashboard. So starting with that data set, will build an executive dashboard. We'll also do some what if analysis. What if certain parameters are changed in the business? We'll try to understand what are the key KPIs for an e-commerce business. And if you can imagine, one of that is shipping costs. Shipping has gone increasingly expensive. So how does an e-commerce business want to manage its shipping costs? So you'll get an overview of that. In addition to that, there are some key technical foundational skills that you'll also be learning as we go along. And some of those is data modeling. How do we join data from two different files or two different tables or data sources? How, real world data is rarely pristine. There are some issues with data. How do we tackle those cases? And finally, the topic that many people love: how do you create interesting and exciting visualizations? How do you allow to do, filtering and change one chart when another chart is modified or filtered? So these are, and then in addition to that, are there some recommendation that you can do to the management, like that will improve the business KPIs? So before we get started, if you haven't had a chance, all the files for these sessions, including the Tableau workbooks, are located at this link. This is a zip file. Inside this zip file, you will find the original data sources. They are three different CSV files, actually four, and then there are two workbooks. We'll have an initial workbook, and we'll also provide you with solution workbook. So in case you get stuck and don't know how to do certain formula or link something together, don't worry, you'll have the final solution workbook as well. Just a little bit before we get started, like what kind of data we'll look at. So this is the data set is about a fictitious pet supply company, but it's highly related with real world transactions that happens with an e-commerce store. The business is located in the US. They have a warehouse on the West Coast. This is a map of the United States for those of us not located or not familiar with US geography. This business warehouse is located. This is a small and growing business. Their warehouse is located on the West Coast of US in California. So as you can imagine, the coast-to-coast distance within the US is 3,000 miles. So East Coast or New York is about approximately 3,000 miles, and that impacts their shipping costs. However, they are targeting the entire country. That's their target market. And as any growing business, they want to grow and grow profitably. That means increase their sales and reduce their operating expenses. Little bit again about the data set. Once you download the data, you will find these four CSV files. There's a sales table, which is the main transaction table. So each and every sale has an invoice number. And as you'll learn soon, some of them are missing invoices. So that those are something you'll be filtering out. And then in addition to that, there is some amount of normalization. That means, like, you don't want to repeat the same customer name, their address. You don't want to repeat the long product description. So those are all located in a separate file. So we're going to bring all of that together. But in your initial workbook file that you may have downloaded by now, we are providing those joins for you, so that we have a very short amount of time. You can get started quickly and save those times. This is how your data model will look as. You'll start with sales, and then you'll join with customers and products table. And state region mapping provides like a quick roll up of different states into region, like East Coast, West Coast. This is often done in majority of businesses, like looking at the numbers, starting at the overall number, then drilling down into specific regions, then drilling down into specific states, before finding those outlier customers or products that might be doing great business or not doing such a great business, not meeting expectations. A little bit understanding about dynamics about an e-commerce business. If you have bought stuff online, and I'm sure many of you have done throughout the pandemic, is you may have known, like laws of economics apply here. Like buying a single product and shipping it across across the country is expensive. Sometimes the shipping cost itself can be more than the product cost. But as you increase the quantity, the per unit cost of that shipping overhead goes down. And those kind of laws apply to what we'll be doing in our what if analysis. So, how a e-commerce business will try to improve the number of units that you buy. Rather than buying that one quantity of that pet food, maybe they want to encourage you to buy two and provide some discount, because even after providing that discount, they'll still end up saving on the shipping cost. But in addition to all that, that's also great for environment, like packaging, sending, like in this example that I'm sharing on screen, like, uh, sending 9 individual jars is not as great for the environment as, combining them and reducing that carbon footprint. In addition to that, there are certain key terms that an e-commerce business uses. Cost of goods sold, which is the price that a business pays to the manufacturer. There's something called as landed cost, so getting that goods from the manufacturer into your warehouse. And then we'll have some additional terms like profit and baseline and what if analysis. We'll do how the profit will change. So we'll get to that shortly. This is a rough diagram of the things that we'll go through. Build a model, again, that's been done for you just to give you that jump start. We'll also show how you can go about doing data cleaning, and then build some KPIs and metrics using calculated fields. And then we'll jump right into building our dashboard and doing what if analysis. But most important of that all, at the end of this, we will have some business insights and recommendations for the management. So let's get going. If you haven't downloaded your zip file yet, go ahead. I recommend you do that. And within that, you will find two workbooks. Let's open Tableau workbook initial file. And once you open that, your view will be something as similar to this. We only have one tab here. And within this tab, let's quickly look at how that data set has been combined. If you want to click on edit data source, and before we get there, if please let us know if you have any issues so far getting files or anything, and one of us will help you out. But once you have downloaded and opened this workbook in Tableau desktop, you can click on edit data source. It may prompt you to look at the original data source files, and the window might look something like, hey, pick your product. So inside that, if you have downloaded the files, you can just select this fact sales file, and then it will pick up the remaining files automatically. And all we have done is we have established join, which is, again, conceptually this is similar to doing joins in a relational database, like joining one table to another. It's just that in this case we are doing the join with two different CSV files. In addition to that, this is another join on products that is based on the stock code. And finally, for doing the mapping of states into region, we are joining state to this state region mapping. There is also another reason behind that. And you can dig on your own, but not every state has the same name. Sometimes state you can use uh, their state code. Sometimes it's a full name. So all of that is getting normalized using this state region mapping. So this is again a real world example of how to deal with bad data, because in Tableau is case sensitive. So let's say state code California goes by CA, but if there are mixed case, that's not considered the same in Tableau. So that's again, since we don't want to spend time on doing that normalization on this call, we have done this for you already. So another thing that has been done is basically business has told you that any valid order will have an invoice ID, so it should not be blank. So if you were to look in the definition of null invoices, we're checking whether the invoice ID is null or not, and we will remove those invoices because this is again an example of bad data. But the way we have done is we've defined this as a null flag and then removed this as a data source. What that means is Tableau has this concept of views. So we have different views that can be created using conceptually very similar to tabs in an Excel workbook. But the filters, if you want to remove something from a Tableau report, you can remove this as a filter here, but that will remove only for the specific tab. But what we have done is, we know that throughout our analysis, we don't want any records or transactions without a valid invoice ID. We have removed that at the data source level. That means as you create new tabs or workbooks, you don't need to add that filter. Excuse me. So now let's go and then build some basic KPIs. So what we want to do is, let's find out how our sales are. So let's just double click on sales, and then let's see what happens. Oops. I don't know, for some reason my double click didn't work, but this is fine. We don't need a chart here. What we're trying to do is we're progressing towards building our first executive dashboard. So what we are trying to build is simple numerical values or KPIs, also called as big numbers or bands. They will be part of our dashboard. So we want to build this as let's say I'm calling this as band sales, and then we can hide the title. There is as you work towards building a dashboard, there is a lot of formatting related work that you need to do, like remove lines, make sure your currency or number formats are right. So some of that has been done for you. If you were to check, let's say if you to check your number format here in default properties, that's where you can change the number, whether it's a decimal number versus currency. So that's already been set for you. In addition to that, let's also create a calculated metric, and that will be, we have something called as profit already defined in the initial workbook, and that is defined as a difference between the sale amount minus cost of goods sold minus the shipping cost. So let's create a profit percentage metric. So that will be profit divided by sales. And because we have a aggregation defined at the sales level, is already an aggregation. So there are two variables. So this, you keep in mind, there is a sales table and there is a sales metric. So you want to actually use the one that is that's the one. I should have called this sales table, but hopefully this is clear. Let's call it profit percent. And then let's go ahead and also create these band metrics for profit and then shipping cost. So let's call it band profit. And then I'm just going to go ahead and add profit. But again, the same thing. So one thing I can do here is I can just copy formatting from one to other and save some time. And then so we have defined two KPIs already. Let's go ahead and do similar. So another way you can also avoid doing formatting work is duplicating a sheet. So I just duplicated sales, and I'm going to call it now profit percent, and we'll just replace this what we are displaying sales. So if you drag a measure onto an existing measure, that will replace what we have. But since I created this as a new measure and didn't set the number format, I'm going to go ahead and define that as a percentage. Once you click OK, that's much better. Again, let me create the final KPI that we'll need for this exercise, and that will be the shipping cost. And again, these are the existing shipping costs that are provided and by the, let's say, fulfillment or logistics department to you. But the management wants to actually improve that. There is a lot of opportunity, and we'll cover some of that. Let's go ahead and now create a new tab, and let's understand where within the United States our business is. So for that, let's create a new tab, and then we'll create a map. And then let's drag state. So there are two states here as I search for the state attribute. One comes from the customer table and the other comes from the state region mapping. And this is the one that is the normalized state that comes from the mapping. That also resolves some of the data issues that I alluded to earlier. So let's click on that. It will automatically create a map and then switch to field map here. And let's add sales as a measure, and then it will automatically color. And let's go ahead and also add this as a label. Sometimes null values are still appearing. We can just either filter them. I'm just going to use them as a default position. And if you want to zoom in here, you need to select different mouse pointers. You can, if you're using, if you're on Windows, you can use Control and scroll bar to zoom, using fine grain motion. But otherwise, you can also use this these options here, zoom area. So let's go ahead. So this is good for now. As you can imagine, because their warehouse is on the West Coast, maybe they started doing business there, and so a lot of their customers are located here, but they are slowly expanding into other markets such as Texas and Florida. And for those of you who may not be familiar with state names, I'll at least add them as label here. So far so good. So let's add this, name this, let's say, sales by state. And then in addition to that, now we'll also do product sales and shipping cost. So give me a second here. And then so sales by state. So we'll do top sellers here as a next chart, and then so for, let's call it top sellers, and then go ahead and add sales, and then we're going to split this by product. So as you search for it, this product description comes from products table, because within our transaction table, all we had was stock code, and we didn't know what those product is, or at least in an easy to understand format. So let's switch this around. Let's make a horizontal bar chart and also sort this so we can quickly locate what the top selling products are. In addition to that, you can also add labels here for sales. So make it more easy to understand. And, if you do that, then, in that case, you can remove the axis, horizontal axis. Another thing, as you do this, you may want to remove some of the lines. So the way to do that is, again, go in the formatting options. And then there are two kinds of lines you can remove. So these are either the borders, or you also have something called as format lines. And then I think we have most of the elements right now to build our first dashboard. So create a new dashboard. Let's call it executive overview. And let's go ahead. So let's go ahead and add, let's say, sales by state. We can remove the legend for now. We want to add the high-level KPIs here. So one feature we'll use that's called containers. So horizontal is layout container specifically. So basically what it helps you is quickly, organize content, distribute like different tiles evenly. So we have 4 of them, and without this feature, it's very hard to get the right layout there. As you can see, it's not evenly distributed. So we'll use one feature of the layout container to distribute this content evenly. So if you're new to Tableau, you need to be aware of what you're working with. So these are individual sheets or tiles within a dashboard, and they're highlighted with gray. But then if you double click on this, it will show which layout container it belongs to. So it automatically created this bottom one. But if I were to do the same thing, I'm selecting this specific baseline sheet. You can change title for that, or adjust height and width, or also decide whether you want to fit this in entire view or width or whatever it is. But I'm still working with this sheet. But as soon as I click on layout, double click on that the gray border, I'm switched to the parent, basically the container where that sheet is kept inside. And then within that, you want to select distribute your sheets evenly. In addition to that, I still need to go ahead and do this fit entire view, and then so to make a dashboard look good, you need to do some formatting, and still I need to do some level of alignment as well. And for that, I came here, right clicked on this, click on format, which opens up the format window. Within that, you go to this alignment tab, and then you want to select this horizontal alignment. And then we certainly don't want to display bands as title, not really business user friendly. So I'm gonna go ahead, and the default is the sheet name, but I want to keep the sheet name as is. So I'm just gonna override the title. And then same thing for the title. The alignment for title you can do right here. And I'm going to repeat that for the other sheet as well. We're almost coming to the end of first executive dashboard, so hang in there. All right, so we added this, and let's also go ahead and add top sellers. You can add either at the top or bottom. So, as you can see, there is only so much height and width. You can change that, increase the height a little bit, maybe increase width, and then and say fit width, and then so there we have it almost. So this, I'm gonna zoom in a little bit more, and then adjust it in the middle. Let's add a filter here, and then to access that, anything that's already on the view, you can add it as a filter or a drop down. You can click on filter. Again, a good practice is to rather than doing this, I can just do a single value and drop down and throw it in the, let's say, first. See, another benefit, as I added this, the other existing 4 sheets were adjusted. Select a product. And you can now, and let me make sure it applies to all. Okay, so now let's say if you were to look at dog and puppy pads. So everything is getting filtered down to that single product. You can see where that individual product is the best seller, which state it is. So that's your drill down analysis, starting from a top level view and drilling down into details. So congratulations, you just built your first dashboard. That wasn't so bad. It took like 10-15 minutes. So we'll move on to our next dashboard that's about shipping cost. So for that, we will be building a lollipop chart, and then we'll also be building parameter-based what-if analysis. So all right, so let's do that. So what do we need here? Shipping cost by product. So we want to do. So before we do that, we need to do. So what another thing we need to do is create a new metric that is based on the baseline. And for that, you can right click on shipping baseline, create a duplicate field, and then edit here. So what we are doing here is the shipping and logistics department has kind of given some averages. So, and what they have provided you is there's a shipping cost. If you, this is a shipping cost that you get. Let's say you talk with your shipper. Your postal service or your overnight shipping services, and they've provided you a shipping cost breakdown. If you ship one product over 1,000 miles, this is average shipping cost. But that different customers buy multiple quantities, so the shipping department has given you an average that if you just buy one product, here is the shipping cost, but for anything else, each additional quantity above one costs only 70%. But that's a very gross generalization, and it doesn't tell you, like, if you buy two products, what will be the shipping cost, three products, what will be the shipping cost. So you work with the shipping and logistics department, and they have provided you with this kind of a detailed analysis based on the how shipping cost for additional quantities reduce as more and more quantities are added. And what they tell you is, if you just buy one product or one quantity, this will be the shipping cost. But if you were to buy two, it will cost you, each additional quantity will cost you only 80% of the cost, and then the cost keep on going down. So this is a far more detailed analysis that management wants to see. And they want to see, hey, if this customer, instead of buying this one quantity, what if we provide some promotion or a coupon or a discount to buy, upsell them, if they promote, like, say 10% off on two or more, or 20% more off on three or more at the checkout screen, how will it impact our shipping cost? What will be the exact impact on our profit? So you're going to help them do that analysis, so that the marketing department can go out and create those promotions. So they want to be cognizant of the fact that how it impacts the bottom line. So you're going to help them do that. And to do that, you're going to create a new metric here called as shipping what if. And rather than using this gross generalization, or a very rough estimate of 70%, you're going to use this blended shipping cost parameter. So it will change based on how the quantity changes. In addition to that, you have also been provided here with that parameter where you can actually change the quantity. So you can check the definition of that, but it's just like an ability to provide like a simple integer value. So we're going to use all of this and build our shipping cost metrics here. And to do that, let's create add description, then add shipping baseline, the current shipping cost, and then also go ahead and add shipping Did we create the what if metric? Yes, we did. Okay. So let's go and add that. And now if you see here how it changes, looks like how it changes based on the parameter. Shipping what if, shipping cost, blended shipping cost, shipping cost. Okay. What if quantity is, oh, there you go, it's changing. Just didn't realize it quickly enough. All right, so we have everything, all the elements are working here. Let's go ahead and then turn this into like a bar chart. And then let's add this as a dual axis. Oops. And then we can change as soon as you basically it combine those two axes. So I'm going to go ahead and change this to baseline as a bar. And after that, and then also go ahead and sort this. So now as you see the quantity changing, your scale is changing, your red dot is changing, as well as your axes are changing. So what it tells us is, as the quantity that right now, the shipping cost for this is 40,000. And let me make sure we have all the measure names and measure values in our let me at least add. So with this, there is a shipping cost 40,000, 766, and then it goes down, so 20,000. So overall per unit shipping cost goes down significantly, as customers buy more and more quantity of the product. So that's basically your analysis that you're going to present to the management. And to do that, let's now create a dashboard. But before that, we have also one additional sheet that we'll need to do, and that one is providing a comprehensive overview into the cumulative shipping cost. So let's just go ahead and build that one. And create, to do that, let's go create this and add description, and then go ahead and add measure values. Oops, and then measure names, and then filter. And then also gonna add, I'm also gonna show the delta. We can also show the delta, but for now this is good. And then we wanna do add transaction date. And then we'll add transaction. And then we'll just change this to an area chart, and then add measure name, and then we're gonna combine this into measure values, measure name, then cost, description. So this is one area. Okay, I got it. This is it. There you go. Okay. This somehow got reset. And then let's just do a cumulative here. This is something you can do using. All right. So basically what we are showing here is the shipping cost here versus the shipping cost originally. How much of a difference it will make if we continue to do these upsell promotions and quantity promotions. So this is an impact of the quantity promotions, and that goes directly to the bottom line and allows the business to expand. We call it cumulative costs, and then now let's put all of this together in a new dashboard. What if analysis. And then what we're going to do is show the shipping cost, show our analysis, and provide this as. And then we can add some labels here to make this numbers pop. Okay. We can also change this to just show the min or max, the first and the last values, or the most recent values, and I think that's much better. So here is basically, if basically what does this mean? So what it tells us is, as the quantity goes down, our original baseline, and let me actually add legends here so that, and then, oops. Put it floating. Okay. So this is baseline, the gray is baseline. I'm not going to change. You can change the edit title here, but later on, but using alias feature, I think, edit aliases. So shipping baseline. And then similarly, just because of we are running out of time here, so I'm just going to be quick here. So the gray is baseline. And then what that means is if our average quantity changes to 2, our shipping costs are actually going to go up. But that means Munchies is already shipping more than 2 quantity of product. And now so it's shipping somewhere between 2 and 3. So now if we are to do 3, our shipping cost will actually be lower, and these are actually stacked. I can do stack mark off, and then that will probably, there you go. So that will actually provide a true picture. And then as quantity goes up, or shipping costs continue to go down. So the baseline was, like I explained, was somewhere between 2 and 3. But as if we hypothetically, if they start shipping 10 quantities of a product in every single order, overall the shipping cost will go down, because it doesn't cost as much to ship that additional quantity of the product, and this goes directly to the bottom line. So how can they do that? This is one way to save on shipping cost. In addition to that, they could also ship from a location closer to where their customers are. And to do that, again, where their customers are, you can switch back to the original executive dashboard you built. But they had majority of their sales in California, Texas, and Florida. So New York wasn't that far behind, but significantly less than the other states. They could also ship from, or open a new distribution center on the East Coast or southern US. So these are some of the insights that you want to share, as you go back to the management with your recommendations. So let's go back to our presentation, and let's understand what we did. So what kind of insights do you have here? So the pet food and disposables make a majority of the sales for Munchies, but on the other hand, products, electronics products such as pet camera are highly profitable. You can figure that out by playing with different products on the executive dashboard. Uh, in addition to that, where the customers are, again, extremely important if you want to run some social marketing campaigns, doing targeting, things like that. So you need to understand where your customers are. So for example, if Munchies want to run some Facebook campaigns, rather than targeting the entire country, they could target more customers who are located already in, let's say, states such as California, Texas, and Florida. In addition to that, you also have some more concrete data about how increasing quantity in a single shipment, what kind of savings you can do in the shipping cost. So these are some of the things. Hey, maybe try, right now you're shipping somewhere between 2 and 3. What are the other products that you can target for this quantity upsell promotion? You can do that analysis by also adding a filter on individual products. So not only like doing that analysis at a high level, but doing like selecting product. And to do that, again, if you were to go back in our product here in our dashboard here, you can always add this as a filter and do the same analysis. Or you can also do multi-selection. So select your products here, and all of these will only apply to the specific product. You could also select this as a filter chart, as a filter using dynamic action filters, and then this one, the chart only gets updated for the bottom one. So basically, when you present that, the management can not only see the overall picture, but drill down into specific products or states. And then once once you do go through those analysis yourself, you may have to click around, see which products those are, which customers those are, and then you will be able to share these insights with the management and make your recommendations. So that with that, I think we're done with this the lab part of this presentations, and I'll be happy to take some questions.
Dev, let me turn my camera on. That was really informative, and I do love that you go from the dashboard to actually having some insights that you can then take back to management. Now, for everyone in the audience, please do add your questions for Dev in the restream chat. So we've got a bit of time for questions. Before we get to audience questions, though, I've got a few questions for you. So I think one thing a lot of people struggle with when they're building dashboards is what order to place the elements within the dashboard. And I noticed, particularly in the first example, you had a row of metrics, and then the plots sort of came afterwards. How do you think about which order to place the elements within the dashboard?
Yeah, so I have if you look at Tableau Public, there is so much creativity. So there aren't rules, just to be clear. But if you are doing typical business dashboard or executive dashboard, one pattern that I've seen very often used is start with the most important things. And that provide high level KPIs, and obviously they will vary from one business to another, and provide them highlight them in very large fonts and called as bands. And my personal experience over the years has been that executives love that. For some reason, their attention goes on those numbers. And it will also vary from who that executive is, what that function is, but the metric that matters the most present upstream. And then from there you can it's called, like, you can divide like a typical dashboard into like 2 or 3 sections. It's laws of 1/3. It's also called dividing your screen into, like, let's say 9 tiles. And then first tile goes to the topmost metrics. The second tile, you have flexibility depending on the chart, like horizontal bar chart can take the whole tile in the middle. And then you can do like the bottom tile, you can have 2 more charts, or you can have 1 more chart, depending on. So basically dividing one, and again, there are no rules sometimes, but typically, like I've seen, like grid, it's called also grid layout. So you can do like 3 by 3. That's a total of 9 squares. Sometimes 4 by 4. But that's too much because a lot of the time screens don't have that vertical real estate. So those are some patterns, some guidelines, but people sometimes do their like Sankey diagram, network diagrams. So all of that doesn't apply to that. So but typical business dashboard, you can follow these patterns.
Okay, so it seems like a grid layout is pretty good. Otherwise, it's like the metrics followed by plots.
Yeah.
Nice. All right. So another question is, how do you think about how much interactivity to include in your dashboards? Is it better to have minimal interactivity and keep it simple, or is it better to have like more and keep it flexible?
So going back to our dashboard, so one of the challenges that you will see is with a lot of dashboard is people don't know. Let's say, for example, so this is like in this dashboard example, I called it select a product. So it's also on you as a designer to make it known to the user that this is a clickable or selectable element. But Tableau's philosophy is in general, good data visualization philosophy is start at the top and let the user drill down into the detail. And that they've actually made it very simple by using one chart as a filter to another. So all you just click here and the bottom chart gets filtered. But the problem is a lot of business users, my personal experience, are not is not immediately clear. You could click on this. So you need, it's also on a designer, like you can add annotations, use color creatively, use like typical navigation patterns, like you see on the web, selectable elements either at the top or on the left. So you can divide your screen like a menu diagram on the web, like all the things that are selectable can be on the left hand side or the top. So it's a combination of both educating users, you designing creatively, but the goal is to go towards interactivity. It's just that you just need to understand the UX element and how to work with that that aspect with your end users.
That's really interesting. So he's basically saying that if you include interactivity, then some people just won't make use of it. Either, I guess, they can't be bothered, or they don't understand how to use it, or things like that. So actually, it might be best just to show things in other ways rather than having to get users to click. All right. So we've got a question from Ida saying, it's just related to this. We'll put this on the screen. So how can you add interactive and clickable sheets? So for example, if I click California State and the top selling product in California State will pop out on the same sheet.
Yeah, so interactive sheet. The last statement, can you repeat the telephone something you said?
So I think it was just if you click on California, then it's going to show you all the details for that state.
Okay, so it's actually extremely simple. So you want to click this funnel icon on any sheet within your dashboard. So you just want to click on that. So and then going back to your example, click on California. So you see the top rows got filtered down just to California. If you click again or click outside, it will deselect that.
Easy peasy. I do like the way Tableau just makes it really easy to add these little subtle interactive things. So going back to your idea, like so at the end you were presenting some sort of recommendations to management based on the interpretation of the dashboard. How might you need to change the dashboard depending on whether those insights, like whether the target audience was supposed to be managers and executives, or whether it was supposed to be, say, another data analyst or data scientist?
Yes. So yeah, I mean, what I've seen is how much you need to change the dashboard based on the audience. Is that the question here?
Yes, it is.
Okay. So most data questions start at the top, and then something is off. Like let's say any company that management monitors their sales and profit. Suddenly today it dips, profit percentage dips from 27 to 5, let's say 22. Almost any executive is going to ask what happened and why. Basically, that means like Was it, which product didn't sell? Where are the costs going? So basically, ability to drill down is there. And if you just present these high level summaries, basically it's on the data analyst or engineer to figure that out, or do that part for on the data analyst. But if you can do that drill down ability, and again going back to interaction, and also help have a training session, half an hour, how to use that, how to drill down, the executives or the management can at least get down to the specific why, rather than asking why profit percent went down to 22, they might ask the question why this product's profit percent went down. Like, they will be able to do drill down, and at some point you have to do some analysis. Is it bad data or something else that's happening? But typically you can't go get down, depending on the volume of data. You cannot always have all your data in the dashboards because of performance or some other concern. But like, let's say click here, you could have an approach where you can show, let's say, last 20 transactions within this product, and that sometimes might answer that question. So it's possible to not design different layouts depending on the audience, and at least try to have that, hey, I can't give you 2,000 transactions, but I can give you last 20, and maybe that will cover a lot of our operational questions.
All right, thank you. So I've got one coming from NG. So, it's written as a statement, but I think the question is, how can we include information from the sheet inside a tooltip?
Okay, so tooltip is automatic, like you can click, but you can change what appears in a tooltip. So for example, like this one description, these are aggregated information, so you need to think like what else can go. But I know that for every category of product here, I can always add category in the tooltip, and then there you go, you have an additional element within your tooltip. And we just added category here, and if you go back here and as you hover over, you can see. So you have ability to change what appears in tooltip.
All right.
Then this is the and this is where you can actually format or align and things to that tooltip pane.
So you can edit the text and have it like just precisely how you want. That seems pretty cool. All right. So next question comes from Bazima saying, what kind of jobs require Tableau knowledge?
Yeah. So honestly, basic, there is two kinds of things. You as a business user, like anybody almost across all industries, like they're driven by data, like some kind of metrics and KPI. So just knowing basic ability to filter as an end user will actually be very helpful, but that may not always land your job. If you are looking for a data analyst or a data scientist type of job, then then you are the one developing these dashboards. And of course, at that time, you'll be tested on your development skills.
All right. It does seem pretty useful. Yeah, regardless of whether you're in business or in data, or a bit of both. So I have another question for you. Now, my experience of building dashboards is that you kind of need to live a bit in fear of marketing departments, because they will spot like any time you build a dashboard and it doesn't align with the sort of company brand. Now, I noticed when you were building these, it seems like there's quite a lot of effort needs to go into how you format the different elements. So like how the text looks, how the plots look, things like that. Is there an easy way to sort of apply like a sort of corporate branding or like a template to make sure that everything is automatically formatted the way you want?
Yes. So they have Tableau has something called, I think, starter toolkit or something that is like nicely formatted dashboard you can start with. But in addition to that, let's say you develop a dashboard like this. Maybe you can add a bar at the top, add your logo, and just save those as certain templates, and that's also will help you save time. Yeah, so check out Tableau's has a very wide repository. I think Quick Start. I forget exact name, but if you Google for something like Tableau Quick Start templates or something like that, you'll find plenty of those.
Nice. And another question comes from Ang saying, how would you document what you've done in the dashboard?
Okay, really good question. So there is two ways. The dashboard itself. You can add. There is you can add, like, one of the things I've done at my day job is add like a summary tab, like, when that's more for the business users. But within the dashboard itself, I think when you go to publish, so let's say I want to publish this, save to Tableau public as, and I don't know if I'm logged in or not, but I think on that publishing page there's an option you can add description that will also show on your Tableau server portal or Tableau public. In addition to that, like, you can add a new tab. Then there is also I believe there is also there is also there is also one feature where all the I need to get back. There is also a feature where it will tell you all the elements and data that is being used, but I don't remember off the top of
So you get like a data dictionary that describes what each of the
Yes,
fields
yes,
and
yes.
columns. Excellent. Is there like a commenting feature as well? So something similar that you'd have in like Google Docs or even in Excel?
Yes. So one additional thing you can do is add annotation. So you can add, like, this area, we did something, whatever, XYZ. So that can also remain on the dashboard itself.
All right. Fantastic. Okay, well, with that, we are coming up to time. So I just want to let everyone know about the upcoming events. So thank you once again, Dev. That was really informative and lots of really great advice there. So next week, we've got 3 events coming up for you. So on Tuesday, we've got another live training. So this time it's on analyzing credit scores with tidy models in R. So this is about dimensionality reduction and machine learning using R. On Wednesday, we've got a more manager-focused session on why you should hire people who have got the DataCamp certification. So this is like, why should you hire data analysts and data scientists? And then on Thursday, we've got a session on what ChatGPT and generative AI mean for data privacy. So this is going to be about how you adopt things like ChatGPT and other generative AI in your business. So lots of very exciting stuff. Please go to datacamp.com/webinars to register for those. And with that, I'm going to leave you all. So thank you once again, Dev, for instructing us. Thank you to Reese for moderating. Thank you to everyone who asked a question. Thank you to everyone who watched today. I hope to see you in future sessions.
Thank you, everyone who joined today.